IVM.
Hey there, friend. If you're anything like me, then you have no clue what a mutual fund is, and your life might be subject to market risks too. So that's why you should probably listen to Paisa Vaisa by Anupam Gupta, who'll answer all your questions about mutual funds, financial planning, banking, all that money stuff. You know. Check out new episodes every week on the IVM podcast app and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Hey, you nerds, welcome to a very special episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. This is special just like all of them, right? No, wrong. Because this time, I think this is the first time we have this cast, right? If we can call it that.
Yes.
We have myself, a Jishnu. We have a producer in Jaanam. And we have a charming guest in Abbas.
Also
Hi,
a producer.
Thanks. Yeah,
But
also
not our producer,
Yeah.
right? I mean, wait, have you ever produced us?
Only, substitute.
You have subbed, right?
Yeah.
Jaanam, what were you doing when
I also
you subbed?
sat in for last year's year-end special, 2017 year-end special.
That's right. Yeah. You've been a guest before. I didn't know. I don't know about the behind the scenes of IVM's producing and when somebody doesn't press the snooze button.
I have cut out parts which I thought were not required on a Geek Fruit episode.
Do you remember what?
Not really. There's a reason they were cut out.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair point. Oh well. So this week we are talking about Bandersnatch, which is the new Black Mirror movie, I suppose, right? It is, it's movie, not TV show, although I guess the lines are blurring day by day. But before we get into that, it is a spoiler-filled episode, so if you haven't seen or haven't experienced Bandersnatch, I should say, be warned, right? But before we get into that, we have some mail. We have some people writing into us that require verbal gratification for their efforts, so I will thank them. Tushar is a man who says, I just binged on all of What a Cartoon subseries.
Oh.
That's a lot of episodes.
6 episodes, I
Is
think.
it?
6 or 7.
Damn. Well done. I hope that you've done all 6 or 7 in a row in one sitting. That would be a great day for everybody. You should like live tweet that shit if you do that. I would love to see what people think in real time. That would be much like a Bandersnatching of Geek Fruiting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We've got to find ways now to like just include choose your own adventures into every medium we can think of. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh well. So he says, thanks for reminding me of all the great cartoons which contributed so much in shaping our childhood. Would definitely watch your recommendations from the DC universe. What's your take on the current cartoon scene in India? Do you think the quality has gone down? Ooh.
I have no idea about the current cartoon scene. Do you have an idea of the current cartoon scene?
I
in
don't.
India?
I mean, the indigenous cartoons, the last ones I had any sort of awareness of was like, what, Chota Bheem?
Yeah, that's
I think
the only one that comes
That was
to
the
my
last
mind
one
too.
that I could think of. And how long ago was that? When
Quite
did that
some
start?
time
That was
back,
like ages,
I
right?
never watched that. Mine was the Hindi dubbed version of Shin-chan.
Oh, okay.
That was the last time I was exposed to Hindi cartoon.
And I don't think, does a Hindi dub count as...
Exactly. I mean, it does count as a Hindi cartoon, but I don't know.
Which are some of the
Not
other
really.
Indian cartoons we have?
I don't know too many, and I feel bad to say that, but I'm also
Yeah.
pushing 30, man. So I mean, like, I don't, it's I'm not going out of my way to find cartoons these days. There's a
Yeah.
reason I'm not on the Water Cartoon episodes, and the other two guys are, because they
Are the cartoons?
are the cartoons
Yeah.
that really enjoy.
Actually, the
Going out
last
there.
real good thing last good Indian cartoon I saw was this film Arjun, the animated Arjun film.
Okay,
It was about from the mythological character Arjun.
Right.
It's actually really well made, and even the story was pretty good, and even the dialogues weren't cringeworthy. So I think it's on one of these streaming sites. Just
Dialogues
check out
weren't
for it.
cringeworthy.
Yeah, because
like,
his mythology, they make it really cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Man. This wasn't.
it's great
So-
when that's a benchmark. It's like, you didn't make me cringe, not bad, huh? I'll pay money for that, not bad. I held a straight face the entire time. I didn't smile. I didn't enjoy myself, but I didn't
I
cringe.
didn't cringe. Yeah, that's a plus.
Can't hate.
So, yeah.
All right. This other email I have been longing for a while. A friend of mine, Sudeep, had mentioned to me about a month ago, I think, maybe more than, and had been messaging me, telling me about his opinions on the show. And he had some very choice words to say about some people. I think I mentioned this to you in passing, Jaanam, once. I could be wrong. But anyway, I'll read out the mail and then you'll know what I'm talking about. So Sudeep says, Happy 2019. Just thought I'd show some love to you guys as a fan. Been a very late adopter to this podcast, but got instantly hooked. To be honest, I really didn't like Dinkar from the start.
Okay.
Let's just pause right there. Right? Let's just take a moment.
Words.
Let's take a moment.
Yeah.
Let's digest this information, okay?
Man, Dinkar is the sweetest.
That's what I said. Right? Okay, so I tried to convince him otherwise in person, and then he just wouldn't have it. I said, okay, fine. You need to then
meet him.
You have to meet the guy, or at least like write into us and like let us all share in your grievances together. We can do this as a family. So he goes on to say, Sudeep says, maybe it was the familiarity bias that I had with Jishnu and Tejas, or maybe I just hated that he couldn't get his numbers right.
Oh,
right? Now, this has been recent contentious topic.
And we have apologized for it
profusely, several times, across several episodes, maybe even across several shows. Has he been on IVM Likes to like apologize on behalf of the IVM community? I don't know, because he should.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Well, let's make it happen. We have two producers. We can do this. Okay. He continues, either way, I just heard the New Year episode and I really like the chemistry the three of you had. Of course, with time constraints and other priorities, that will be difficult, but try and have more shows with the three of you. That would be, yes, that's a good idea, but...
You're reading it on an episode where neither of the two...
Yeah. So, you I mean, he said so himself. It's a time problem, right? We like each other, just not that much. Okay. He continues, P.S. I thought by the way, Sudeep, your P.S. is longer than your actual emails. So if you'd been listening to the show from day one or, longer than just the recent past, you would know that we keep saying bullet points is the way to do these emails. Come on, buddy, that's not amateur. All right, let's continue. He says, P.S. I thought Bandersnatch was quite shit. Blunt and to the point. Yeah, the script was nice and the screenplay was good, but the storyline seemed very convenient despite the choices you make, and this freedom of selection is also not new. Steven Soderbergh did this earlier this year with Mosaic. He also... Damn, this is a epic saga he's got. All right, he continues. Also, while Tejas hates Venom, now you get into bullet points. Venom wasn't as much of a flop as you think. 2, worldwide gross Venom made more than, and he's got a list here, both the Ant-Man movies, both the Guardian movies, Doctor Strange, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and 855 million is not bad at all.
Right. I mean, we have addressed the fact that Venom did well in the box office, but I mean, personal views are personal views. They didn't like it, so...
I'm just seeing a trend here in this email that he's got going of just putting out hate there into the world. I told Sudeep in person, like a while ago, Dinkar's not that bad a guy. Venom is a pretty good movie. And I wanted him to write in. And he just decided to poop on a stick and mail it to us. So thanks for that, man. Cheers and hope to listen to more of your stuff, not just musically. Thanks so much, Sudeep. So anyway, like he said, he has thoughts on Bandersnatch, as do we all, I'm sure.
Yep.
Just to begin with, in case anybody hasn't seen Bandersnatch, one more time, this will be a spoiler-filled review of the whole thing. So... Or I guess review of as much of the thing as we've watched.
Yeah.
So, ye be warned. So, let's just get straight into it. Abbas.
Okay, wait, before we get into it...
Well then, look at that producing. Look at that producing.
Before we get into it, I want to just... I haven't had a chance to talk about Black Mirror in general, so...
Yes, please.
I mean, this show is obviously really good. And I just want to list out my favorite episodes from each season. Season 1, The Entire History of You.
Which was?
Now you have to describe
the problem is...
Yeah, the one with the
names,
where they can see the husband and wife cheating and the...
Is it with the eye implant?
Yeah, the eye implant.
And they can record each other?
Yeah,
that's
and
right?
that's the first time they use that technology and then they repeat it in future seasons.
That was a great episode. Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe after this episode was out, they released some news saying there'll be a movie based on it, but that never came out, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, season 2 is Be Right Back. This was the episode with, like that this couple is living in together and her boyfriend passes away and they...
with Haley Atwell and Donald Gleason.
They send this body at home, which is like...
They try to build your own
Yeah.
thing, right? Yeah. That was intense.
Build
The,
your
the
own
reason I'm so
Dedex.
clueless is because I'm not a Black Mirror completist. I've only seen 2 episodes
Oh
of
man,
Black
have I
Mirror.
spoiled it for you?
Before,
No,
that's
no,
fine.
that-
Before Bandersnatch, I'd
In
only
half
seen
an hour, I don't think you'll remember what she just said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I remember Haley Atwell was in an episode. So
So which ones have you seen then?
So I've seen the first 2 episodes of the first season.
So the
that's
pig,
it.
not the pig,
The pig
yeah, it was
one
pig, yeah,
and
that was
the other
first
one where they have
The hostage.
to
Run.
cycle
The
to get
15
digital
million
points.
miles.
Yeah, that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so those are
And-
my only 2 references. to
But
Black
you
Mirror.
haven't continued because it didn't make an impression on you, or
Because I have a thing where I'm not that much into anthology TV shows where each
Okay.
episode is a new story.
Right.
I like some
Okay.
continuity in
Sure.
my shows.
Fair.
So I'm not saying I don't like the show. The 2 episodes I saw, I really like them.
Uh-huh.
But then this just became one of those things I'll watch one day. Because
Sure.
each episode was its own thing.
Yeah.
There's no pressure of keeping up with the
Absolutely.
story. So
Absolutely.
it's just been on my watch list for the longest time. And yeah, that's just where
Fair
it stayed.
enough.
Yeah.
oh, that's great.
You can continue
Yeah.
with your list.
Okay, season 3 is San Junipero.
yeah.
That
That's
was
my favorite of all of them.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, actually, maybe. And season 4, I only watched season 4 in the second half of last year, actually. I just caught up with it. And I had heard a lot about this
Was
episode.
season 4 in 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great year, wasn't it? 2017. Much better than 18. So much better.
Yeah, we've.
Go on.
our
I know
listeners
for a
will
fact
know.
they did a Star Trek spoof episode, didn't
They did. Yeah, that was
USS
fun.
Callister, yeah.
That was very fun.
Yeah. I mean, that was also one of the best episodes from season 4. But people were really talking about this episode called Hang the DJ, and I feel it was hyped so much.
Yeah, remind me, which one was that? I
It
remember
was
the
the
name.
dating app one where
Yeah.
these people meet and then
Uh-huh,
they stop meeting. Like that, they basically their time together is
Yep,
done.
yep.
So I didn't
was
enjoy.
cool. Oh, you didn't enjoy it?
No, it was good, but
Yeah.
I feel it was just hyped too much.
Sure.
But I loved Black Museum, the last one,
Mm,
where she goes into the museum and there are these
In the
like 3
desert?
different
Yeah.
stories playing out. And
right. So,
yeah.
I friggin' love Black Mirror,
Okay.
right? And I arguably every year, whenever there's been a Black Mirror episode on the podcast, that's been one of my favorite conversations, just because the subject matter of it is so refreshing compared to the stuff we usually get to talk about. I feel like I feel vaguely intellectual when we talk about Black Mirror, because like we're just allowed to talk about things that we wouldn't have a reason to
Right.
in other instances. But I will say, to the Black Museum episode, that is the one episode that I struggled with and I haven't finished.
Oh,
And that might just be fatigue, because like we said, 2017 was a great year, packed with so much stuff. I
Oh,
was watching a
man.
lot of stuff, including the entire season of Black Mirror. And
So
the
till-
way Black Mirror goes, you have to know what you're getting into. And I can't be the only one that every time I'm about to begin a Black Mirror marathon or even just one episode, I know that the minute this is done, the next thing I have to do on my list for the day is going to be done moping around, or like done with like my head hanging a little bit of just like, man,
Right.
what is life and why is this?
so till where have you seen this episode?
Not very far at all. Not very far.
Okay, I'll highly recommend watch it. Even if
I
you
should.
just Abbas just watch this one episode.
What's it called again?
Black Museum.
It's the last episode of the previous
Of the previous season.
Yeah. And San Junipero. And the ones I listed out basically.
Sure,
Just
sure.
watch
All
these
of
4
it.
Okay,
episodes.
so this show called Black Mirror is pretty good, you know?
So I've heard.
Yeah. All right. So, let's since we've just rounded this all up, let's just take a quick little break, and then we can get back into it and hit the ground running, talking about Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on IVM Podcast. If you aren't following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On Instagram, we've been doing an interesting thing recently. What we're trying to do is whenever a listener is listening, they take a screenshot of what they're listening to, they make a comment, and they tag us on it. And we're reposting that on all of our stories. So, I mean, like, if you want to get on our feed, then please do tag us. And otherwise, if you want to see what other people are listening, then go and check out the Instagram account and you can take a look at that. On The Seen and the Unseen, Amit Verma talks to writer Gyan Prakash about his new book about Indira Gandhi and the emergency. On the Prakati podcast, we have a 2-episode special that demystifies the ongoing economic conflict between the US and China. Last week, we launched a brand new Hindi podcast called Cinemaya. It's hosted by Swati Bakshi, and our first guest is Nandita Das. She discusses her journey as a woman filmmaker in a male-dominated industry. On Varta Lab, Naveen and Akash talk to comedian Nivedita Prakasam and remember their favorite heckling stories. On our Kannada podcast, Thale Arate, the host discuss how the Kannada language and culture is faring on the far side of the world. On Pesa Vesa, CEO of Edelweiss Asset Management, Radhika Gupta joins Anupam to discuss asset allocation and its importance. And with that, let's continue on with your show.
Hey, you nerds, welcome back to the Geek Fruit Podcast. I'm Jishnu here with Jaanam and Abbas. We are talking about Black Mirror Bandersnatch. Abbas, you have written words on a piece of paper. Just a little behind the scenes, guys. We never have stuff written down, in case you couldn't figure that out already. Abbas was a pro.
Yeah,
Do
old
so.
school. So how I came to know about this was, I think they dropped like the trailer a day before the show went up, and someone tweeted about it. And the novelty of the show, of course, was the choose your ending kind of thing. So I saw the tweet. I thought it was very interesting. I thought, let me check it out. I was aware of the fact that Black Mirror is supposed to know for a certain kind of storytelling. It's not your happy-go-lucky storytelling. It's going to be weird. It's going to be scary. It's going to be
Morbid,
right? So I started watching it, but I'm sad to say, overall, it really didn't catch my attention as I expected it to.
Okay.
I didn't really feel for these characters who I
I'm with
was
you on
seeing.
that. I am with you on that.
So if I was making decisions which had impact on their lives, if something bad happened to them, I didn't really feel that.
You didn't care.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
So the novelty aspect of it, I think, kind of took precedence over the
Yep.
storytelling in this particular case, right? I have seen, I think, around 40 to 45 minutes of the entire, however many endings there are. I've reached 2 endings.
Okay.
When it started off, I mean, so this is, we're spoiling it completely,
Yeah,
right?
go for
Okay,
it, go
so
for it.
cool. So when the story starts out, you're making small choices, right? Like the kind of music the person picks, or the what cereal you'll pick, right? And within about 30 to 35 minutes, you're choosing what to do with your dad's body. I'm like, that escalated really quickly. So I like the whole, I like the pastiche of it. Like we're all going very crazy about 80s nostalgia right now.
Yeah.
This kind of borrows a little from Stranger Things because the whole computer graphic thing. It has the fantasy tome, which will resonate with nerds who've grown up reading these kind of things. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen that much of Black Mirror, but the 2 episodes I did see, I thought they were very original in their concept.
Yeah.
Whereas this one felt like, let's just borrow from everything that's famous right now, right? It was very much, it reminded me a lot of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
A lot of pop culture references, 80s setting, computer game which decides what happens to the character, all of that, right? So yeah, overall mixed feelings. As a concept, very interesting, because now Netflix knows what I would do with a dead body in case I have one in front of me. They know what kind of serial I like, what kind of music I want to.
Imagine what your recommendations are going to be now.
Exactly.
Man. It's all slasher movies.
So I can almost see a future where in about a decade or so, Netflix or some other streaming platform, whatever, will almost give us a choice where they're like, what are the ingredients you like? Just tell us those and we'll make a little mixture of it and give it to you right then and there. Right?
Phasers or lightsabers, which ones?
Kind of, exactly. You will have G.I. Joes with lightsabers or whatever the hell. So yeah, those were my basic thing. Where I thought the story didn't connect with me as a novelty. It's fun, but I saw it twice, and both the times I was bored at about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well done. I concur completely. 100%. Jaanam?
So I've had 2 experiences watching this. One is when I watched it alone, and I had a similar experience like you. I actually so the first time I played it, I'm saying playing it. I actually approached it as a game, and for me it was only about I wasn't paying attention to. Again, there was no plot as such. There was no proper storyline, so I was just mostly like paying attention to which option to pick. And if they gave me kill dad or don't kill dad, I was like, of course kill dad. Bury his body or chop up his body. Obviously chop it up. So I was just going for the more brutal and weird options. And I mean, I reached a point in the game or whatever that I was like, okay, I'm bored now. There's not much more to it. Then I watched it a second time with Teja Santinkar on New Year's. And this time there were 5 of us sitting, and we were all voting which option to pick.
Sure.
And we went through a series of options, and then I realized that when you go back, when it takes you back to a point in the story where you have to choose again, and if you select the same option again, the plot is not the same. It slightly changes.
Slightly modifies a little bit. Yes.
So I mean,
which I think was very clever.
Yeah. I feel like they've been very ambitious with this whole thing. It's been great. The whole choose your thing.
I mean, it's a gold mine as far as rewatchability is concerned. If you're spending 2 hours on Netflix, now you're going to spend 3 because you want to see more endings. You want to see more scenarios being played out. So
but I'd like to say the second time I watched it with these guys, I reached an ending which felt particularly definitive
Hit us.
Did you guys reach any such ending where you felt it was...
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Not
ish also.
definitive, but not satisfying. But tell us yours. And I'll tell
Did
you mine.
any of them involve time travel?
No. Although I feel like you are constantly time traveling. Yes. I feel like, yeah,
I would
maybe.
say no.
I'm going to say
My-
maybe because I kind of think, but I don't know if it's as nail on the head as you're talking. Go on.
Okay,
Go on.
so I reached this one ending particularly where you remember he takes this. There's this scene they go back to where he's a kid and this whole rabbit
Yes,
toy
yeah,
is
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and there's this one scene where you select an option and then he goes with the mom in the train,
Yes.
and he ends up dying with the mother,
Right.
and then he's sitting simultaneously with his psychologist or psychiatrist
Yeah, yeah.
with her, and while so he's kind of dreaming about that, and he dies on the chair. So that
Oh,
felt,
really?
And then credits
Yeah.
roll because he's dead.
yeah, I think that happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't surprise me at all because I know what flashback you're talking about because I picked the other ending, which is I didn't follow the mom, but what that ended up with is him. Crap, how did it go exactly? It was something to the effect of he is now at this place of heightened self-awareness. He knows it's a game. He knows he's just doing blah blah blah, defying the narrator's will, and then by the end of it, what happened? I think he ends up in jail.
Jail, yes. I got two endings where he ended up in
He
jail.
got in jail and then did another. Whose daughter was it? Somebody's
Colin's
kid.
daughter.
Colin's daughter ends up
Yeah.
making the game.
When she
Yeah,
goes
When
up.
she goes
Goes-
up,
goes-
so
it
we've all seen
forwards to
that.
the future.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And that was kind of meta because she's writing it for Netflix.
Netflix,
yeah.
So did you guys get this option where you have to who's doing this to me, and you get
Yeah.
the option of PAX Demon or
Of course.
Netflix?
Yeah. Netflix.
And
Did you?
I
click on
did choose Netflix.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
It was
yeah.
absolutely hilarious.
I've chosen all three, so I know.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not chosen PAX, have I? I didn't choose PAX.
There was PAX, there was that
The symbol,
symbol,
yeah.
and then there was Netflix. Yeah.
The Netflix gag did make me crack up immensely.
So
Like,
then,
I-
did it lead you to the psychiatrist who takes out two katana swords?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite
Oh,
part.
I will tell you when that build up happened though, and she
Yeah.
said, "Don't you want more action?" Like I couldn't pin it as to which way they were going to go. I was thinking this is either going to be into like action sequence. I was like either that or gratuitous sex.
Right.
I was bracing. I was like,
Make out.
I was like,
Oh
wait,
my god.
what kind of movie is this going to be now, guys? Like, where is this going? I was like, okay, it's the action. All right, fine. Anywho,
Yeah. So what did you select then? Did you go for fight her or jump from the window?
oh, what did I do? I think I jumped. Yeah, I chose jump, and did either of y'all choose
No,
jump?
I chose to fight. Did you also choose to fight?
I've chosen both. Like first
Okay.
time I
Okay.
chose
So what happens
How
with
many
the
times have you seen this?
Yeah, you've done this more. You've seen a lot more of it than you're letting on. 'Cause
No, so that's
I've only
also-
got 3 endings so far.
I've lost count of the number of endings I've
Oh,
seen.
damn.
Honestly, I've lost
Okay,
count.
okay.
When I chose to fight the psychiatrist, his dad walks in at some point, and I've done the most horrible things to his dad. I've killed him, I've chopped him, I've buried him, and there is an option once where you can kick him in the nuts. So I've done
Oh,
that
yeah.
as well. Like poor dad. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So when you click on jump from the window,
Yeah.
you again it goes. They show you what's happening
Fourth wall
behind the
break.
scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then those guys are like, Mike. They address him as Mike, which I think
Yeah.
is his real name, and they're like, "Are you
no,
aware
his real name's
of what's
Fion or whatever it is.
Oh,
I don't
mine
even
it was
remember
Mike.
what his
Yeah,
name was.
I don't know where that Mike name came from.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but
Did
I'm
any of
pretty
you
sure.
reach a scenario where you make him eat a spider?
What?
Yeah, because I saw on Twitter there is one
jeez.
ending where he has to eat a live spider to survive.
No. have,
No, I haven't. I've only read about this.
I hope they're not trolling.
That's also possible, yeah.
Well, okay. Speaking of Twitter and trolling and possible endings, have we all heard about the secret ending?
No.
Are
I've
you
vaguely
surprised?
heard
Are you
about-
surprised that
about-
there's a secret ending?
Nope.
That's kind of the
Yeah.
point of this whole
What's
thing,
the
right?
secret ending?
So they say that even the show creators themselves have put in an ending in there, which is basically to your Ready Player One reference. You know, it's got the mother of all Easter eggs within the
Okay.
thing, which is apparently so hard for them for one to find that even the show creators who made the damn thing can't find it.
Okay.
Which is a lot of fun as a marketing ploy.
Yeah,
like,
it is, of course.
you know, carrot and stick kind of thing. But I also kind of, to your sentiment, Abbas, earlier about how this was lacking something that the previous iterations of Black Mirror had, which was gripping, was just really freaking awesome character work and really great story and world.
Yeah.
This was all world, no story, even though it's about a story. The problem for me with Choose Your Own Adventure games or Choose Your Own Adventure books or whatever it may be, the reason I was never that enthralled by them was the point of paying money to be entertained is entrusting somebody else who has taken the time and effort to craft something that you couldn't do.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
If you give me a Choose Your Own Adventure, the math works out that probably, if we're lucky and if the story is good, there is one ending in there, one very, very narrow definitive path which will blow your mind.
Yeah.
But if the author submits the authority of decision making to the reader and basically who is an idiot, which we all are, then you ruin your chances of having a good time.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to choose and it's great, but at the end of the day, it's to my detriment. If I choose wrong, then it's only, hurting my relationship with the story because I'm taken out of the story and then I'm thinking about like as much as I was into the scene where, he's about to fight the therapist or whatever.
Yeah.
The minute that you break the fourth wall, I'm like, oh, that was amusing, but now I've lost all momentum and I have to build up my relationship with these two characters again. Which is only going to hurt the characters. So to that end, the gimmick, for lack of a better word, let's say, which it's not, I think it is, it's much more well done than to call it a gimmick would give it credit for. But for lack of a better word, the gimmick of the Choose Your Own Adventure world that they've built is really fun. But much like with any video game, where in all video games you have to make decisions on who you want to talk to, kill, whatever it is, what this kind of lacks, this is basically one of the most passive ways to play a video game. Right? Where it's literally just A or B, as opposed to a skill-based game like, where you fight somebody or you have to use strategy or you have to employ tactic and like engage. This you could literally like, honestly, the fact that there's a timer which automatically selects usually the answer on the left for you. The first time around, I didn't press buttons. I intentionally just went, you know what, I'm just going to see what you automatically want me to see. And then the second time around, I started like choosing and mixing things up. Because I was hopeful that, they would let the default answers be pretty damn interesting because that's the natural flow of things. But then halfway through, because they're smart, they decided they stop you and like, you're just doing this by yourself, aren't you? We know. And I was like, oh, screw you. Like, I just want to watch a good movie. I don't want to play a game. I didn't sign up for a game.
True.
If I want to play a game, I'll play a game.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with you because did you all reach that point where he's dialing the number and they're telling you what the numbers are?
Yeah,
so
did you?
You don't even have to put your brains
No.
to it.
So there's a it's to base very simply. There's a point where did you reach this like secret room where there's a computer screen?
Yeah.
And you didn't. There wasn't a combination you had to type
the
in.
combination part,
20541.
No, it didn't give me 20541.
Okay.
It gave me two words to choose from.
Pack and toy. Okay, so there's another scene.
Yeah.
I forget how you get there.
No. The one you're talking about is as in the one you explained to him was. Where he has to enter the password to the safe.
Yeah.
Right, which is different than the pack and toy thing.
This is where he's calling the therapist and he's like, she keeps telling him, right? You know the number.
Okay, I haven't reached that part yet.
So basically, it's a moment which took me by surprise, which I was hopeful for like half a second because it changed it up. Like the fact that you had that option of pack and toy was kind of, that was vaguely amusing. I was like, oh, you're right. I see what you did here. That's cool. It's integrating nicely. There was another point in which you make a phone call and you have to type in a password, and it's a numeric password. They give you the 9 digits, and they're like, "Yo, type this password." I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Right.
But as that timer gets lower and lower, right? Obviously, there's that looping montage that it's got, right? That montage just gets so freaking like hitting you over the head with it that they literally stop going from like a myriad of cuts in which they've subtly thrown in the numbers to just
telling you the numbers.
Blanket 2 0 5 4 1
Yeah.
2 0. It's like, okay, I get like, then why are you? Why am I doing this if you're just going to do this for me? So another thing we have to talk about is how this actually came to be. So Black Mirror in general, because of how avant-garde and how out there it is, the reason that I think it works is because it's really brave and bold and out there and deliberate in trying to, take risks. And we've been lucky in that they've made stuff, I think, that's worked 99% of the time.
Right.
This one, on the other hand, apparently came the other way around.
Okay.
Netflix went to Charlie Brooker and said, hey, do you want to make interactive film? And apparently he first said no, but of course, reasons.
Another stack
Exactly.
was on the table.
And he didn't say, but reasons happened, and then he said, like, all right, maybe I'll do it. Because Netflix has already done this choose your own adventure stuff before, very mildly, in a Minecraft and in another, I forget, there's another kids movie that they made.
Okay.
And they had very, 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 very basic, simple choose your own adventure things that played out, which I'm sure was fun, especially for a kid. And then they said, all right, now let's put this in for adults. And smart move in giving it to Charlie Brooker, or like approaching Charlie Brooker for it. I don't know who else they went to, but I mean, if you tell me, hey, do you want Charlie Brooker to make something? I will always say yes. But apparently, it was, we want to sell something that's new. We think you can package it for us in a neat way.
Right.
And he totally did. He packaged it in a very fun, elaborate, convoluted, morbid thing the way he does. Like, it's got Charlie Brooker written all over it, and it's great. However, I think therein lies the problem. He wasn't allowed to write a story that he thought was worthy of writing.
Right.
He was given an assignment and said, make a fun game for me. And he said, all right, here's a game.
Yeah.
But the problem is, buddy, you're not a video game developer.
Yeah,
you're a storyteller, and you can't do both. There's a reason video games have teams that are maybe like twice as big as movie teams are, because it's literally two completely different things that have to live together. And asking one man or one man's team to do it, I think, is pretty much
I was a bit
gargantuan.
disappointed that like Black Mirror, like we've seen the previous seasons, it is supposed to be grim and dark, and I felt this didn't have that element.
No, in fact, I felt the opposite. I felt that once you give the option of choosing something to the viewer, the part of the brain will always want to see the grimmer ending. Like you said, when it comes to bearing or chopping something up, you want to chop someone up.
But that still
Because you
didn't
can.
feel that...
Because we can't do
in
it
real life,
real
I
life.
couldn't. In real life, if I had to, I would probably bury. I wouldn't want to chop. I'd be like, I've already done it. I'm ashamed of myself.
So then,
don't wanna go
then
forward.
what it does, it takes away the artistic value of Black Mirror and just makes it like, let's see how violent, how much I can push the envelope.
Yeah.
Then it becomes like a torture porn film where you just like, let's just push the limits of how dark it can be.
masochistic. Yeah.
Whereas, I haven't seen that much Black Mirror, but from
Oh,
whoever,
you haven't seen that much torture.
what I've heard from everyone is that you take something away from each Black Mirror episode, whether
Absolutely,
whether it's an analogy of a real world scenario or
Completely,
whatever, which is what I thought missing in this one.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the story within was about him being controlled and not being in control of his actions, which is what we are doing.
Yeah.
That part was nice, but again, it was just a glimpse of that, and it just didn't go anywhere. Then again, I just want to make a choice which will make him go into a bizarre scenario, just to see how bizarre it can
just
get.
make the puppets dance. That's all you're doing, right? Which
That's what I felt.
So the thing, which again to your point, is that with all his previous episodes he's done, like you said, he's always made you question something, always made you think about something that you hadn't dwelled on before, and then just come to a realization that, man, we need to course correct, or we need to do something about it, or I need to do something about it, or I need to say something, something of value, something that actually matters to you.
Yeah.
I think, metaphorically speaking, the sort of aha moment that happens here, now, you guys tell me if you've seen this scenario play out. There's a moment where when you're replaying the show, you immediately start off with Colin talking to your protagonist and giving him a tab of acid. Have you guys seen this?
No,
I have
haven't
reached.
seen
I
this.
mean, I've seen that part where he's offering him the acid, and he's like, "It's your choice."
Exactly. Yeah. So that automatically played out. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, I've
Where he's
seen
got
that.
like the Bandersnatch logo on the acid, right? So it's the thing that is immediately like you're welcome back to a little game moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically like a 5-7 minute scene where Colin tells him, look, you're in the rabbit hole, and now it's just a matter of finding the right choice, and that's all vague and ambiguous as all hell. And then he proceeds to go on a 5-minute acid trip, as you'd imagine, and revelations and and then resume game.
Yeah.
If that is the crux of this, there's no point,
Right.
because let's face it, acid trips and all that kind of stuff can be self-revelatory to some, but at the end of the day, it's escapism, and it's just something to let you have fun, let you forget about your worries and your strife, Hakuna Matata, and not have any major point to it, other than, this is just something I'm going to do, I'm going to indulge in, it's going to be crazy, and this will be my world while I'm on the ride.
Right.
Once it's done, it's out of my system, and I'm good to go. Unlike his previous works, which are far more somber, sober, even though they're morbid and grim, they are real as f***.
Yeah.
They really make you question things. This one, on the other hand,
Yeah,
just
it's
doesn't,
just a-
because it's just, hey man, here's a pill. Just have fun. I'll see you in 6 hours. I'll pick you up in the morning. I'll give you some hangover medicine, and then we'll move on with our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, because when I started the rewatch, I was optimistic that, okay, maybe there's something more to it that I missed, because when I first saw it, I tapped out the second that I got to an ending. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I did my first viewing as complete, exploratory, kind of like, let me just see what you do. I'm going to be as passive as I can. And the minute I got an out, which was not very far in, like half an hour into it, I was just like, really? What? And I got like the TV show rating guy.
He's the guy who most of the endings, when it reach an abrupt end.
Yeah, he gave me a 0 on 5, and I was just like, well, that was rude. All right, well then screw you, man. I got a review for you in a week.
Well, you know what I realize is every time they give you a choice to throw tea on the computer, don't do it, because then it leads you to that abrupt ending where it's like, try again. Like, okay.
See, I just see, like, that's the thing. Just pressing put tea on computer is not like, if you put me in the bat suit and give me like 4 buttons and a directional pad and say, now beat up the Joker, like, all right, cool. Give me 20 attempts at this and I will finally nail it, and I'll feel satisfied that I finally beat the Joker. But if you're just going to tell me tea or no tea, I'll be like, well, I'm a coffee guy myself, so this wouldn't be a scene that I would be in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
true.
So yeah, I don't know.
But do you think this will take off? You think
I have a
because
bad
they've
feeling it
achieved their target of getting people to talk about the fact that we are doing this, the fact that it's the biggest thing on the on
I will
social
say
media.
it's redeeming. It's redeeming 2018 a little bit. It technically did come out in 2018, so it redeems something. It's a year of new innovation between the Spider-Verse, Infinity War, and this guy.
Yeah.
Storytelling techniques are being blown wide open, so that's exciting.
Like, I can only almost imagine studios making alternate endings to classic movies and giving people this option.
God damn. Yeah.
You want to make Han shoot first or
Jesus.
Guido shoot first? Like, what will happen?
Just slow your roll, everybody. I hope if my ideals play out of this, say, 5-10 years down the line, if this picks up steam and people continue down this path, no pun intended, is that the entertainment industry invests even more into gaming.
Okay.
And then just says, you know what, let's kickstart gaming again. Not to say that it needs a kickstart.
Right.
It's doing pretty well, I think. But it's also that I think even though we have like a Steam already out there, which is a sort of on-demand platform of sorts, I think we could do with more. We could do with a more Netflixy kind of video game hub.
Right.
Because I think if this actually does continue and people enjoy choosing your own adventure in narratives, and like, well, let's do that plus a gamepad.
Right.
And let's have you actually, if you do want to shoot first, then you better shoot first, as opposed to just click shoot first.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's scope to pull in people that weren't gamers previously via this kind of
actually, that's
story.
a good point. Like, I'm
getting
not a
new,
gamer, but
getting new gamers might.
Yeah, I feel
come
like
out of this.
gamers, like you said, they not only get to make the choice, but then play out the quest themselves rather than sit back and just see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that'd
be fun. I don't know.
Maybe.
You don't game, do you?
I actually have a lot of thoughts.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. So, right, when you were talking about how Netflix approached Charlie Brooker, I didn't know about that. But I read somewhere that Netflix has specially created this software called Branch Manager, I think. The software they've built to make this whole whatever format. And as a story, like if I'm consuming a movie or a TV show, I would rather have, I don't know, maybe it's laziness because I've spent so much time on Bandersnatch just exploring different options. I would rather have just, if it's a great story, just tell it to me how it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to be choosing my own thing. It's fun, like it's a great experience, but as a game also, I don't know how, if more movies and TV shows start doing this, I don't know if I would invest that much time into it.
Yeah.
I would rather if you have the brains to like figure out the story for me, just give it to me. I'll take it as it is, which has been the case with most of the Black Mirror, all the Black Mirror.
Yeah, I mean, that's how storytelling has been for the last 100 years or so. I think that they're yet to latch onto the correct not medium, but the correct story for this. Like this was an experiment. Maybe if they give us a slightly more fancier version of maybe Lost in Space or something, which has this kind of a choose your own thing, choose choose your own path, choose your own planet. And so when initially I thought it's going to actually give me an alternate storyline for every choice I make, but like we all learned that wasn't the case. Like it'll eventually strive you in the direction they want you to go.
Yeah, it's finite, especially considering it's live action.
Exactly.
They can only act out so many times.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I mean, as an experiment, this was interesting. It'll be interesting to see what other forms of storytelling they incorporate this in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair play. Anyway, so final thoughts. You seem...
Final thoughts.
Impressed overall,
it didn't give me the wholesome feeling of watching either a movie or a TV show.
Right.
It's like
a game. Like I said, I was playing it. It's a game.
Even as a game, it wasn't a great game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree because there are only two options, but
says you after watching it for 5 hours, like
because I had to like talk about it and
But this is
explore
interesting.
and
I saw it for
see.
40 minutes. You saw it for 2 hours, and yet both of us have more or less the same takeaway from it.
I watched a little more than 2.5 hours.
I feel like you watched a lot more because I watched about 2 hours and I only got 3
I
endings.
watched 2 hours with Tejas and Dinkar. Before that, I watched for like half an hour, 45 minutes maybe, and last night I watched for another half an hour.
That mathematics is more than 2 hours, Jaanam.
You're gonna watch it again.
I'm no
tonight?
producer,
I
but
don't
that sounds
think
like
so.
more than 2 hours. Yeah.
No, unless I find out how I reached that spider ending, the spider eating ending.
Yeah, what
I'm
is the
not-
spider eating? Please
I
explain
read
this.
about it.
I don't
have
get
no
it.
idea.
Oh, yeah,
Someone
you read
tweeted,
about
I
it?
just
Okay.
made the Bandersnatch guy eat a spider, and I was like, okay.
Do you, okay, speaking of random things that people tweeted out, did either of you ever click on pick the family photo twice in a row?
I think we did.
Because apparently
That
one of
night.
these secret endings is that Netflix. So this is what they're
Yeah,
so
what is the secret ending?
egregious. They tweeted out themselves from their own Netflix account. They said, "Hey, BT Dubs, have you seen Bandersnatch? And if you have, or if you haven't, whatever, remember to." They said just like point blank, click on the family photo twice. It's like, well, that's not much of a secret now, is it?
Yeah.
So what happens?
I don't know. I didn't care enough. I was just like, I clicked on it once. It's okay. I'm not going back there. Because now
Yeah, you
to
only clicked
find that,
once.
how do I
Exactly.
end up there again? I'm not doing all this. Like, screw it. Like, that's the thing, man. I can't remember the guy's name.
Exactly. That's
I don't
the thing.
remember our protagonist's name.
I know
Stefan.
Stefan.
The,
Right.
Stefan,
There you go.
the
Stefan.
Yeah.
game company head for some reason is an Indian who's
I really liked him. He was very
Mohan
amusing.
Thakur. Yeah.
Mohan
Yeah.
Thakur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asim something is his name.
Yeah.
I found him very...
He was
very
yeah.
fun.
He
I
was,
liked Colin. Colin was pretty.
Colin was great.
What else
Yeah.
has Colin been in? Like I've
Were
seen
the
this-
Millers?
Oh yes! Oh man!
He's apparently in
He's
Maze Runner
that
as
guy.
well. Not that I've
Okay.
seen it. I think
neither have I.
Tejas has seen it. I
But
could be
yes, he's in We the Millers now.
Yeah, I don't know what
it
he
all
was-
makes sense.
Apparently, he got a lot of hate
He
on
got
Twitter.
a lot of hate
Yeah.
for his blonde hair, and then he left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's no, I don't know if it was his hair or just his
Of
look
various
overall.
things. Yeah. People
but-
basically said that you're ugly, and he's like,
Ouch.
"Screw social media, guys, I'm out."
Yeah, and he's like, "This is something, guys. This is something I've like struggled with before, so I don't want any more
"Yeah." He's
of
like,
it."
"For my mental health, I'm leaving." I was like, "Damn,
But I
son."
think he was looked so great, man. I mean, I was totally crushing on Colin.
Nice.
So Jaanam likes bleached blonde.
Yeah.
Good to know, guys.
Only
All right.
on this guy, not generally. Guys, don't go and color your hair.
I can't do
Yeah,
that,
but
Jaanam.
good luck with that. All right. Anyway, so that's it. I think that's our show for the day. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys have any more thoughts and comments and concerns about Bandersnatch or Dinkar, please write into us, and we will happily read it out and talk to you in this lovely interactive medium that is podcasting. Right? We can make it interactive this way.
Do you see a day where people choose what they make choices about what they listen to?
We
Not on my
chose
show.
to Bandersnatch Tejas and Dinkar out of this episode, so I think we can do that.
Yeah.
If the day ever comes, that'll mean I would have to record more than the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Which means I will be
yeah.
written out very quickly.
Oh yeah, and I won't be producing this show anymore if that happens. Because coordinating with these guys isn't easy, guys.
Alrighty then. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening, you nerds. You can find us at geekfruit.in at our website. You can write into us at contactgeekfruit@gmail.com. You can reach us on all the social media handles at contact... No. Oh, I haven't done this in forever. It's Geekfruit HQ. I was going to say a totally wrong handle. Oh, there's a reason Dinkar is the professional. Okay. Thanks for listening, you nerds. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Shudaditya.
And I'm Amit Doshi.
And we host Shunya One.
It's a really fun podcast where we talk to some of the best entrepreneurs in the country.
Yes, talking about everything from their startup challenges to what they're building and all the future of technologies right here.
So catch us on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you listen to your podcast from.
Do you wish you were smarter? Well, so do we. But the next best thing?
We could make you sound smarter.
And to help you with this endeavor, we are Simplified, a podcast that attempts to break down the complex world around you with a little knowledge, a lot of poor jokes, and a ton of random trivia.
Episodes out every Monday.
On the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
See ya!